So we're with Tom. This is another segment to the whole assisted living discussion. And the next discussion we're going to have now, we talked a little bit earlier about licensure and kind of requirements and that. Now we're going to talk about a little bit is sort of the decision and maybe the discussion of the plan of being proactive versus reactive. Unfortunately, a lot of moves into a facility are after a crisis. Probably the majority of moves are after a crisis. And that's just miserable. It's miserable for everybody. And it's not really the best plan because the option to have found a great match, time gets short and fast. It's very typical that that decision is made because the client falls at home, gets a broken hip, goes to a rehab, rehabs for 4, 5, 6 weeks, and then is moving into an assisted living facility because they cannot safely return home. The problem is that puts everything under the gun. Yes. Everybody's under the gun. Finding place. The daughter coming down from Kentucky, we'll pick on Kentucky.
That's
again.
fine.
That's fine. The son coming down from Philadelphia, he's got a job, he's got children, he's got things to coordinate, and he's only has a couple weeks. And on top of that, he doesn't even know what an assisted living facility is or how to find one.
Yes.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the concept of the planning and the looking for what's going to happen that tells you it's time to start planning. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, basically what I found in all the years that I've been in this and what I've been teaching is we have a word in our industry called an unscheduled service need, which is basically a need for an intervention we cannot predict in advance. And people are pretty predictable. And we know in the assisted living world that we have residents, they're creatures of habit. They do the same thing every day, which means we can anticipate their needs. Mm-hmm. But if my mother was living at home, okay, and we had all kinds of family support brought in. We make sure she gets her meals. We make sure she gets her meds. We make sure that she goes to the doctor. We make sure she shops. We make sure she gets a little socialization. But she doesn't have anybody after hours to take care of her, so we get her one of those Life Alert pendants, and this is not an advertisement for Life Alert, but it's one of those mechanisms that we can help to try to,
more precaution.
Yeah, more precaution.
Right.
Mom gets up to go to the bathroom at 2 in the morning. She falls. She hits her Life Alert. EMTs arrive. They take her off to the hospital, and the next thing you know, they're calling me, the son, to say, hey, come. Your mom's down here in the emergency room at 5 in the morning. And I sit with her until about 12,
right,
only to have her go back home. Now, she didn't have any serious injury, no broken hips. But now at that point in time, we've had one unscheduled service need or one event that if people are really paying attention, which is my point here, and being proactive, that's when they really need to start thinking about what comes next.
What's our plan?
What is our plan?
In the old days, my mother would call that waiting for the other shoe to drop, because you already have had one. It's kind of a warning and a wake-up call. Saying, hello, hello. The odds of another one happening just continue to rise. And so if when you or your loved one know you've had the event, it's kind of a gift to tell you, okay, I need to start moving forward on a plan here. A plan.
Yes.
Because if I just simply look at the event and go, we dodged that bullet. Mom's kind of okay. She got bruised up, but she's kind of okay. What's next? Where's the real plan in place?
Or it's the holiday period. We've gone to visit Mom, and we find out that, you know what, Mom's not doing real well. No. What comes next?
Right.
Problem is people wait too long. And what I like to advocate to people, and especially with what we're doing today, is that we need to be more proactive in making decisions about caring for our family members and our loved ones and our elderly ones now, as opposed to waiting until it happens. And that's the unfortunate part. We're not a proactive society. We're more of a reactive society. We wait for something bad to happen before we take action.
Right. And one of the things about that really bothers me, I've been doing this for some 25 years, and the reactive part takes away so many choices. For example, if you're proactive, you can take your mom to 4 or 5 facilities, and she can walk around and say, oh, I really like that, or I don't like that. You, as the maybe adult child, have a lot of time to do real due diligence, to really determine, is this facility appropriate?